Just a quick warning before we start. Propane is dangerous. I am not a professional, and this is not a how-to or advice. Don't copy what I'm doing. If your stove has issues, get it professionally serviced or replaced. This is the probably 1960s propane Thermos camp stove. It came in the original box that's out in the garage. It's an 8440 is the model number. It has the wind guards on it, just like the modern day stoves, although these are kind of more solid and higher, and they just latch in the slot here. So it's actually a little easier than the Coleman stove, which has just a little tiny piece of metal that slides into an edge on the lid. So that's how this works. This looks like it's barely been used, if at all. It doesn't have any burn marks on it. There's no stains on it. A little bit of rust on here, and some Mars here, but it looks like just rubs and stuff from existing. So I'm going to flip this over and I'll show you the bottom of it. So there's two little locks here that lock inside the base here to lock the lid. And you flip this over here. And here's the burners underneath. And here's the piece. This goes on here like this, similar to the Coleman, but they're separate ends. One on this end, one on that end, and it's a compression fitting as opposed to just kind of sitting in there. And then this sticks out of the back, and that's what the regulator would hook onto. So this is just a hole. There's nothing in there. There's no kind of anything in there for a pin to hit. So this was before safety, mandatory safety stuff, which is kind of cool in and of itself. I couldn't even find a modern day fitting to thread onto this. This is reverse thread, and I don't know what size it is because nothing that I tried fit on there. The one hardware store said it thought it was probably 9/16 reverse thread, but the thread was coarser than what they had. And that was an actual hardware store, not just a Lowe's and Home Depot. So what I did was I 3D printed a piece and just threaded it on here. So I just got done doing that. And then I made the hole on this end big enough to put a 1/4-inch flare on it. And I'm going to try to join the flare in with this piece because it will go into that. This is concave and kind of like tapered a little bit. So if I can get that to get close to that, then that's going to prevent it from being able to leak. I'm prepared here to hook this together now. So I've got the pipe dope on here. It looks like I should probably put a little more on there. I might put a little layer on that. And then I'm going to screw that on there. And then I'll screw this piece in. And then I'll slide this whole piece in here. And then there's a metal piece that just kind of, it's like a spring. It sets in here under the edge. And then these two bolts compression fit to here. And then we're good to go. I have the other fittings that I can use, the gas line and the quick connect and all of that. This is the quick connect here I put on for this piece also. So this came in that kit. So that'll work. And then we should be good to go. The only thing is it's probably going to stick out a little further than I would probably want it to, but there's not really much I can do about that. Alright, I'm going to screw this on here. It might look like it's actually made out of metal, but it's plastic. Yeah, I just painted it with gray to kind of look like it was metal. So this is going to go on reverse threaded. I'm wondering if the pipe dope might make it too tight, because this was really tight. And the size I ended up making it 13/16 on the outer here. Okay, I think that's good. So a little bit of a gap there, but it's in pretty far, and it looks like, I don't know if you can see in the threads inside there, when I threaded this in, this looks like it's going to go right in there. Hopefully it's just right. And if it's hitting that, it should be a little harder to turn as it's hitting that. And if it's getting snug like that, I'll put some pipe dope on this. So if it's hitting that before I get down to the bottom of it, then that's good. Then that's going to be right in there. And I might be able to put like a washer or something in there, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. And this stove seems to use less pressure than the Coleman. If you turn it up too high, anywhere near what you can run the Coleman on, it kind of just blows the flame out. It just makes quite a bit of noise and then right out. So it's not going to have to bear a lot of pressure within this. So let me get the pipe open. I'll dope that up there. Okay, this is already here. Let me start putting this in. It's going in a little crooked here. Come on. It's a little bit crooked, but I don't think it's tight. I don't think it's going to make any difference. I'd like it to be straighter, but okay, let's give this a shot. Put this together. This is going to go in here. And then these just turn. So I found that if you put the left side in first on this particular one, you can see the spacing is actually different between the flares. This one's a little more, got a little more pipe sticking out. So I think I determined, no, I'm not sure. I think one of these it went in further. And these don't have to be, I don't think, super tight. Just snug. You don't want to strip anything. Okay, and you can see how that's a little bit crooked coming out. Alright, so let's hook the gas up here. And like I said, I got the quick, and this has to be off right here. And then just put that on here. That's it on that. And I have just the 1 pound container on here. So I have this still set out on low. Turn that on. Let me see if I can hear anything come out of the burners when I turn the burners on. Make sure that the gas is on. Yep, I can hear it very faintly. I'm actually going to turn the pressure up a little bit so it'll be a better test to look for bubbles. Alright, get some water. Yeah, it looks like it's coming out a little bit right here. That's disappointing. Not coming out here anymore. And it's not coming out over here. So maybe I'll put try to get it straighter and put some paste pipe dope on there and see if that works better. And if I get it straighter, hopefully the fitting will be going into this pipe. So I'm going to take that apart and give that a shot. Alright, so I put the paste pipe dope onto the fitting. The tape actually was pushed way up. It must have just got caught on the plastic in there, and actually just pushed it up. It was all bunched up on the end of this, to the top of here. So I put the paste on there, and then I was forcing it to be straight with the wrench. So I got it to be, it looks pretty straight. And I tightened it as tight as I can go without it stripping the plastic. So let's test and see if we've got any gas leaks there now. I'm not seeing anything. No, I think it looks good. Alright, I'll get this flipped over and we'll check out the flame. Okay, we're flipped around here. This is sticking out quite a bit in common with the fitting I had to put on there, and then the quick release or quick connect, and then the hose itself. So in hindsight, or as a solution, if this becomes an issue in the camper or something, I might have to get a right angle. And since I have this is the important part. Since I have this on here and a fitting in here, I can probably either screw maybe put a right angle piece either on here or on here. Probably on here, come up like this, and then connect this down this way, and then we'd only be this far in. So not a big deal. Let's figure that out later. So let's look at this thing here. The lid stays up. Unlike the Coleman, the lid doesn't stay up unless you put the walls up on the sides. I'm not going to put the walls up for now. Okay, so let's turn the gas on. Let's put it on a little bit, because I know it doesn't take much pressure. And this doesn't have the automatic click ignition. Oh, I didn't turn this on. So I had that. I have it turned on too high on the regulator. It's not very far at all. I think it's only like maybe a quarter of a turn, if that. Okay, so this is all the way up on the adjuster here. And what's nice with this, the videos that I was seeing on Coleman's where you couldn't get it down to a nice simmer, and this automatically lets you do that when you turn it. So if I turn it to the off, it starts to go down, but if you put it up to the highest point and then keep going further, it goes the opposite way. So if I go down all the way to the left, it's just a real nice low simmer. So this is actually a lot nicer in adjusting than the Coleman. But put it up all the way. So now that might be a little bit too low to boil water. I think it will boil water, but I think if it's a little windy, even if you have the guards on there, or if your pot's a little bigger, you can always turn this up on the regulator. Now you see now that's a little too high, and the jets are just bouncing all over. If I go any further, it starts to break up. Now it's just gonna, if I go up even higher than that, it's just gonna blow completely out. It just blows itself out. So as soon as it starts to get loud, and then turn it down a little bit, that's about as high as you can go. Now what's cool about this one, and I don't know that much about camp stoves, so I don't know if there's any modern ones that do this, but this is pretty neat. When you turn this other burner on, you don't have to use your lighter to light it. It just, the gas travels through this pipe from here, and then the flame just shoots through and then lights it. Well, it has done that. There we go. So since I guess the gas is heavy, it travels to the tube and the heat pulls it through and the flame eventually jumps across. So that's the Thermos 8440, 1960-ish. I don't think it would go into the 50s. It's kind of a 60s color, I think, with the blue. But I have no way of telling. Someone out there might have information on the year, either through a booklet or a pamphlet. I wasn't able to find much of anything on here. I didn't find any pictures. I found pictures of other people selling these, but I didn't see any pictures of the regulator or anything like that. So I'm going to give this thing a good cleaning, and then we'll be all set to use it. So that's it. I'll try to put the parts in a link in the description. So that's it. So this is Gus does stuff, and I did it. I got my grill going, and I think the final cost is going to be more like an additional, it's about $15 for the grill. I just bought another regulator and 1 pound container fitting for the regulator for the type 1 connector. I think that was 20 something dollars, plus the other fittings, which probably amount to like $8 or something like that. So I paid more for those things than the grill itself. But again, I don't think you can get these grills, the Colemans, for new, especially. They're anywhere from $60, if not $80 and above. And used ones, I see them selling for quite a bit too, unless you buy one that's all just beat to crap. So till next time, and we'll do some stuff.
An important update?
Update on the connection. I got the right angle 90-degree piece here. So rather than this whole thing sticking out this far and then the pipe itself coming on, the whole thing was sticking out way out here like this. And that's not going to be ideal depending on what kind of table or counter we're on. So I thought it'd be a better idea to put the right angle here, and then this way we can just hook this here like that, and everything's in the back. You're going to be on the side with the gas canister, whether it's your 20 pound or your 1 pound, and that's that. I tested everything, pipe doped it up and tested it, and there's no leaks. So this one is done. I cleaned it up also, scrubbed it all up. It wasn't really, it was never used. Any marks that were on here were Mars from the box and that kind of thing. So everything pretty much washed off. There's a couple of nicks, and that's it. This one little piece here was like $6. These other pieces were about 3 something a piece. This one actually came with the quick connect nozzle, but the other pieces in here, they're all about $3 to $4. So if you're going to do this, you might go to a plumbing store or some sort of non-department store, non-Home Depot, non-Lowe's, and you could probably get these cheaper. But since I didn't know what I was doing and I was going to return them and stuff, probably depending on what I kept, figured that was easier to go to Home Depot or Lowe's.